What's good, people? It's Critical Mess. It's episode 22. It's the podcast where some friends in the ad business rap about movies that critics and audiences don't agree on. I am Nick Honeywell. I'm here with Grizz Griswold, Brian McCullough, and producer Ben. Say what's up, fellas.
Hello.
Hey, Brian McCullough here. Just want to quote Thurgood Jenkins real quick here. This is especially close to my heart right now. You know, it ain't always good to get high before you have important things to do.
Well said, Thurgood.
In his southern accent.
All right, let's break this ice. So, the icebreaker tonight, I think, is an interesting one. There's kind of one little attachment that goes with this that I'll explain. But the general question is, what movie have you seen more than any other? It's very simple. Now, that little attachment to this is, this movie cannot be ranked in your top 10 films of all time. It has to be outside your top 10. What do you guys got?
The Matrix. I can't wait to say it. It's The Matrix. Brian, are you excited I said The Matrix before you did in this episode?
What?
Whoa. Nice.
Is that your actual answer?
Absolutely. Yeah. I watched this every time we had like a hangout with all the guys. We'd watch that movie all the way through my teens, multiple times. So
Nice. I respect that. That's a great answer.
Great answer.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to say The Little Mermaid from 1990 because I think I watched it like every single day. My mom says I watched it every single day for like the entire summer one year. So
That's it, huh?
I was really enamored with Ariel. Yeah.
Shocked. Have you seen the new one yet?
No.
Okay.
But to be
don't
fair,
know.
I haven't seen the remake of any of the Disney movies, so it's not that I'm singling that one out. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, I think that, and then all the times as an adult and stuff, well, actually, there haven't been that many. Little Mermaid, yeah, I'm going with that.
Okay.
Oh,
That's not the answer I expected. Okay, so my answer, obviously I've had a little time to think about this, so I always cheat and give a couple, but holiday movies. I feel like, I have traditions with holiday movies, so every year I watch Halloween on Halloween, so I've probably watched that, who knows how many times, 15, 20 times, something like that. Not in my top 10, but not too far from it. And then It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas, every Christmas, always, and for a long, long time. I've probably seen that movie 30 plus times, I would say. And it's just as good every time. It's truly, I hate to say it's not in my top 10, but probably should be. And then the one that has nothing to do with the holidays that for some reason I've just seen this movie so many times, and every time it's great. It just keeps getting better like a fine wine. True Lies. Great film. What kind of sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer? Classic
Classy
Tom
movie.
Arnold. But yeah, love True Lies. So anyway, all right, we've broken the ice. So tonight we're going to be spoiling the movie we're talking about, as we always do. So, and this is also a time to suggest to you, please watch the movie before listening to this podcast. You'll probably enjoy the podcast a lot more, or don't take my advice, whatever. But it is something we recommend. But tonight we are talking about a film from the year of our Lord, 1998. It is not a horror movie, unless you are Mitch McConnell. This movie is a stoner comedy, dude. And it's called Half Baked, and we're excited to talk about it. This movie was directed by Tamra Davis. Anybody know another Tamra Davis movie? She actually directed a comedy we're all familiar with, another one.
Billy Madison?
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Well done. Well done, Brian.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's mostly directing TV shows these days, but yeah, some classic comedies for Tamra there. Stars Dave Chappelle, Jim Brewer, Harland Williams, Guillermo Diaz, Clarence Williams, and others. Cost a paltry $8 million to make. Raked in about 18 mil. So
Still a success.
yeah, made a few bucks. A quick refresher about the criteria for the movies we talk about. So the movie must be fresh with audiences and rotten with critics, or vice versa, and the disparity needs to be about 20% or so. This movie, total buzzkill with the critics, 28%, and it was some of that sticky, icky for the audiences, coming in at around 81. So we've got 50% or so disparity. So this should be a fun one. So let's get right into this.
God.
When did we see this movie for the first time, guys? How many times and how many times have we seen it over the years?
First time I saw it was in my 10th grade history class.
In class.
And yeah, maybe 10 times since.
Can you elaborate a little more on that first viewing?
The 10th.
Yeah, is there anything else
grade?
behind the backstory of you watching
Shout out
it
to
in
Mr.
history?
Hausman. He was the coolest history teacher ever. And we had a free day where someone was supposed to bring a movie in, and my buddy brought this movie in and started playing it, and he let it roll.
That professor's in jail now.
Yes. No, he was cool, man.
Well,
was
and can
cool.
I also point out one thing? I mean, this movie is obviously rated R, but I noticed, at the start of the movie, they always tell you what it's rated R for. This movie is rated R for nudity, violence, sex, language, substance use, and smoking.
Oh,
Smoking last. So is that the least of?
I mean, what else is there?
Yeah, gambling.
Right? I mean, yeah, I guess. But it's like, that's just amazing. That's what they were showing you in school. So, anyway, Grizz, how about you?
It had to have been soon after it came out. Probably one of those things where a friend got it from the video store, and we watched it as a bunch of teens, early teens. So it's been a number of years, and I think I saw it bits and pieces on Comedy Central when it was on reruns, and then literally just yesterday.
I need to make a clarification in case somebody fact checks me. I think it was 11th grade history. I think 10th was alive. You'd be able to.
It makes it a lot better.
Fact check you.
I just want to make sure nobody thinks I fabricated that story.
All 15 of our listeners are hard at work in Google.
That's too crazy.
All right, so I saw this movie. I don't think I saw it in the theater, but I saw it, I'm sure, within a year or two of its release. Saw it a couple times in high school, a few times in college, a couple more times since then. I'd say 6-7 times was probably my count for this movie. So let's rate this thing. Sounds like we're all pretty experienced with this film. Shocker. Who wants to start?
Go ahead, Chris.
I guess I'll start. It's the least exciting rating, but I
No.
gave it a 50.
Oh man,
I know. I had a
I
real hard
respect
time.
and hate that rating.
I really hate to give it that. I just really had no idea which direction to go. It was really hard to watch. I'm not a stoner traditional. I don't smoke weed. I never have. But growing up, I had friends that always had, did it, and they loved this movie. That was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, sure, there are funny parts, but I'm like, I wasn't belly laughing at every single scene. So yeah, 50. I don't know. It feels weird to say that, but it feels right in the
It
middle.
is weird. It's
So I'm
almost
waiting
like
for
the
you guys
default.
to. Yeah, I know it's
Like you
hard.
didn't- Yeah, no, that's. I mean, it makes sense. I'm at a 37.
Ooh.
It's just not a very good movie, and the biggest. I mean, that sounds generic. It didn't do anything special for me, and I have a big problem with where it's going and what the tone is. So,
Okay.
type of movie it was, could have been something totally different.
So this is actually a complete coincidence, but my rating is the same as the audience score, if you recall what that was.
81.
81.
81.
You say it was a
Look at
sticky
us.
icky 81 or something? What?
I believe I did.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Is that like a whale tail?
Something like that. It's a
Big
deep
root.
cut. Deep cut for our
Deep cut for our listeners.
for our listeners there. Yeah. So wow, we got some stuff to talk about.
Mm.
Big
80
disparity.
Wait, you said
80
81?
81. He's up there, guys.
You're at 81?
An 8 followed by a 1. Yeah.
just hit
Hey,
me.
actually, I should preface. Were you high when you watched this? Both the first time and in recent watching before we reviewed this film on a podcast we created almost a year ago.
Grizz, I'm going to plead the fifth on that.
Yeah, I don't think we.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want people
Whatever.
to think I do drugs.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh, how dare you?
So I think what we're going to do now is thank our sponsors here at Critical Mass. We got a couple sponsors tonight. We've got, Modelo. And then we also have another special sponsor. It's one of our old favorites, I would say. It's been a sponsor of ours before, and they're back. In fact, push that over my way here, Mr. Griswold. Here at Critical Mess, there's really only one brand we really trust to keep our whistle wet, And it's not just any old brand, because Lord knows there's a lot of brands out there that have old in the name, right? We've got your, what do we have, guys? We have
Old Hammer,
Old Hammer, I guess.
Old Granddad,
Old Faithful.
Old Faithful.
Old Country Buffet.
Guys, we need to take this more seriously. We've got Old Crow, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
We've
Old
got
Crow.
Old Forester. We've got Old English. There's
Old
a
Granddad.
Lot of old. Yes.
Yeah,
a
there's a lot of olds.
Right, and it's all going to get you drunk, right? But the old that we like here at Critical Mass is a little more distinguished, I think, than those other brands. It's truly for a discerning palate. And that's something for us is Old Elk blended straight bourbon whiskey. And it's not named after some sort of conniving bird or a group of trees or some sort of dead language. No, it's named after the most majestic of beasts, the mighty elk, which, if I'm getting this right, is really just a big-ass deer that will fuck you up. So, a 750-pound sort of gentle beast, yet capable war machine with giant antlers. I feel like that's the right vibe for the team here at Critical Mass. But more important, what does this product taste like? If I had to choose one word, fellas, one word for this product.
What would it be?
Keep it to one word only.
One word.
Mm-hmm.
Divine.
Divine.
Divine. Or maybe
Adam Devine.
no. Well, I do. He's funny, though. Very funny guy. Or how about ambrosial? If I'm feeling like a fancy boy.
I'm sorry, listeners. You'll have to go look that one up.
Didn't know you could use that as an adjective.
Ambrosial. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. I could get more specific, but you're just going to have to buy yourself some Old Elk, because if I start saying things like subtle, luxurious notes of dry fig, I feel like one of you guys might smack the Old Elk right out of my mouth. So
I would.
to put a button on it, quit drinking that same old shit. Drink like a scholar and a gentle person. Drink like Bruce Banner in deer form. Drink Old Elk straight rye whiskey. Thank you.
Man,
Wow.
Thank you.
I shall.
Gorgeous.
I feel like I witnessed a waterfall and there was a beautiful rainbow.
Did I take you all on a journey?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, okay, let's get back into this, fellas.
Let's do it.
We've been all over the place, but here we are. So audiences, critics don't agree on this movie. We don't agree on this movie. And I think we need to talk a little bit about, why that is and, and that sort of disparity, because it's a big one. So let's talk about it. Brian, you're the pundit when it comes to this kind of stuff. So please enlighten us with what you found.
well. First of all, this is a weird one. It had 26 critic ratings. So, generally that we're talking an order of magnitude more than that when we're rating these movies. So, yeah, not very many. So it's harder to sort of give a blanket statement for critics. But their consensus is you'd have to be high to dig half-baked production and scattershot sense of humor. Although maybe that was the point of this Dave Chappelle-led joint. Yeah,
Nice.
so
Good call.
yeah, I mean, just what you'd expect. Let's see, David Luty, Film Journal International. Try not to hit my microphone here. The film, in spite of any plot, is one sketch after another, some of which fall flat, some of which fall flatter.
Burn.
Man, I feel like I'm reading poetry.
Burn.
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
No, beat poet.
Oh,
Yeah, I just got it.
Brian, you're just talking
of
so
clapping.
damn slow over there. David Newsair, Real Film Reviews. Half Baked wants to be a classic moronic movie, but it's just too stupid to achieve that goal. Let's see.
Agree. Oh.
Yeah. Just give me. Yeah. I need my brightness higher, man. I gotta get together over here. What did I read this one yet? Brian Mackey, efilmcritic.com. The definitive stoner's anthem film. Chappelle is hilarious and charismatic. Great celebrity cameos help keep the uneven script afloat. And then it says best served fully baked. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm reading. James Sanford, Kalamazoo Gazette. Seems half-produced with a grainy, unattractive look and bargain basement special effects that ruin some good ideas. Perhaps the filmmakers blew their budget on the slew of guest stars who pop up briefly.
You know what? I think the Gazette is a filthy rag.
Tell me.
I don't care what they have to say.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Mr. 81 over here.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's what was it? The
The Kalamazoo Gazette is a
Kalamazoo
filthy rag.
Yeah,
Everybody.
nothing but a rag.
Just a rag.
I think it's hilarious to just describe a newspaper as a rag. I just think that's funny. That's just good.
It's good, man. It's good. Two more. Scott Weinberg, DVD Clinic. As far as pot comedies go, it's got just enough laughs to warrant a visit. All right. Okay. Jake Euchre, winningly stupid comedy with the emphasis on stupid. So
Yes.
tell me what you guys think. Give me a holistic response to that.
Yeah, it all sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me.
A bunch of bullshit.
That's exactly what I would agree with there. I mean, my
thanks.
rating of 50 doesn't. Sorry, not you, Nick.
Oh.
My rating of 50 is not very high, and so it's not necessarily a passing grade in my book. So I think I agree with a lot of those.
Seems half produced. That's
Now,
That's
what
vexing.
do the actual people, the real humans, the salt of the earth, what do these?
Yeah, what are those
Real
high-ass-
people.
What are those high-ass audience
Real
members?
people.
audience reviews.
Yeah, I guarantee they're little half baked. Are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well.
You see what I did there?
Yeah. You know what? This isn't the best crop ever, but this is just to kind of give you an example of what people were saying. They're not that funny. They're not as funny as some of the ones we've had. Christian S. November 13th, 2023. Look, you got to be high to like this movie. That being said, it's one of the best pothead movies of all time. 10 out of 10. Best pothead movies of all time. Would you say it is?
One of the best. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's on the Mount Rushmore of pop movies.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think it's just 5th or 6th.
Oh,
I think the Mount
Wow.
Rushmore's taken up.
wow.
Okay.
Let's hear that list, Brian.
We'll see.
Okay.
I don't have it right in front
Maybe
of me.
later in the corner.
We'll see. Where are we at? Chris C. This is a classic stone. I just barely read that one. Andre G. Can't lie. I still like to get high and watch this movie. Really, there's no other way to watch it. The movie isn't funny. When you're sober, drunk, even, it's funny. 6 out of 10. So, Grizz was asking earlier about, what was your state with watching it? I think a lot of people like to get high and watch it.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I think that's safe to say.
And I think those people all probably give it a 10.
That's might be the problem with this film and how people rate it.
Yeah, maybe.
Gotta be on that.
All right, wrap it
Gotta
up.
be on
I'm
that.
going to
Wrap
play
it
the.
Yeah. What else did I have here? Most of the 5-star audience reviews I read were from fans of weed, not fans of the movie. Okay. Here we go. How the hell is this movie rated 29%? Top 10 cult classic. Life hack. Rotten comedy is 20 to 40%. Rotten Tomatoes comedy is 20 to 40% rated, and his audience 75 to 90. It's if it's 75 to 90, it's fantastic. If a comedy on Rotten is 80% to 100% critics, it sucks and is pretentious. Damn, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to read in my life. I don't even know what I just read.
You
but-
nailed pretentious. That was good.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a word in there.
All right. Yeah. Well, so I
Did
looked
the
it
guy
up.
on the couch write that?
So I wanted to call him out on that. So I looked it up. Looked up some of my favorite stoner movies. So Friday, for instance. So he was saying that a really good pothead movie is going to have a low critic and a high audience, like Half Baked. So I looked up Friday, which is kind of a comp. 76% critic, 91% audience. So
But that's got to be like the best, right?
well,
Is there better?
Dazed and Confused, 93% critic, 90% audience.
Whoa. I think that's a little bit of a stretch to call that a weed.
Wow.
movie. I mean,
I
they
think it
smoke
is.
weed in it, but it's not like as about weed as Friday or Half Baked.
Mm.
It's not, but it's still a pothead comedy. It's still that culture, the culture of smoking weed. I mean, there's a lot of characters in the movie that do it. It's talked about a lot. It's like coming of age. Like it's one of the guy's first times doing it.
It's named Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused. The dude won't.
But there's other
the whole crux
drugs and
of the
narcotics.
movie is that the quarterback Pink, he like wouldn't even join the team because he had to sign that he wouldn't smoke, and that was like kind of a big. I don't know. I feel like it was.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean,
was like-
I won't fight you on it.
Another one, and this is not a pothead movie, but it's just like in that sort of realm. The Big Lebowski, because obviously the guy
The dude.
He's smoking weed for a lot of the movie, and there's jokes about it and stuff. Again, it's not a stoner comedy, but it's like adjacent. It's got that funny kind of high humor. 80% critic, 93% audience. So I don't know. That was kind of my answer to his theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for reviews.
Not a lot.
Good.
Man,
That's it.
that's crazy.
Well, I thought you did a fine job tonight, Brian.
Oh,
Way to
I'm
go.
proud of you.
I don't believe you.
No, I thought it was good.
Thank you.
I thought it was good. Now I think it's time, guys. We've got a pretty polarizing movie here. So let's flip that script. Time to do that here on Critical Mess. And, Grizz, I know you couldn't be more down the middle. So
I don't
know.
see 50 as a middle. I'll
Well,
I'll say that.
Well, why don't you?
I think of a grading scale, and 50 is well below failing. So
Why don't you, as the stoners might say, hit the bong or crack the bowl and get us started?
Okay, I will. I gotta say, I think one of the thing that really sold this movie for me as enjoyable was Dave Chappelle, and mostly his narration. I thought it was just funny the entire time. How he's just commenting on the entire film throughout with little quick jokes and snippets there. But also Jim Brewer and Harlan Williams, two of my favorite comedians of that time that were not in enough movies and comedies. But other than that, I had a really hard time with just the overall concept, the idea. But I think Dave Chappelle kind of just sold it. And then him being Samson, is that?
No, he was
Sir Smokes.
Sir Smokes a lot. Sir Smokes. Sorry,
Is it Sir Smoke a lot or Sir Smokes a lot?
I believe there's the extra S.
Okay.
I
Smokes
think.
a lot?
I think. Smokes.
yeah. So he was amazing. Apparently, he was supposed to be cast as Snoop Dogg, and they just pulled an audible and had Dave Chappelle play the same character.
Yeah.
So which is great.
Agree.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
Doctor said I need a bacchiati.
He has all of those little lines and those vignettes are amazing.
Yeah, they're incredible. And then there's subtitles in a couple spots which were funny. And then I just thought he just went over the top, and I loved it. So that's what I enjoyed about it.
Do you notice how cool he made himself in this movie?
Mhm.
Oh, for sure.
He is just the fucking man, isn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, and I
Did he
respect that.
co-write this, right?
I know he was definitely involved with the writing of the
Okay.
movie. Him and I believe Neil Brennan, the guy he did Chappelle Show with,
Yep.
worked
Yeah,
on
yeah.
this. Yeah. Okay, we're still flipping.
Oh.
Brian, you got some work to do here.
Ooh. No. Well, yeah. This movie had a lot of humor. That was something that's good. There was a lot of things that made me laugh. There was a lot of bad things and cringy things, but yeah, there was definitely some laugh out loud moments for sure. I'm sure we'll get into some of those. So I respect that. Samson Simpson was just a great character. I loved him. He was the way he talked. I don't know, just everything about how he was dressed, and now this is what's gonna happen. He's just great.
He was very good.
And then great cameos. I like the cameos. The Willie
Mhm.
Nelson and Snoop Dogg, and Jon Stewart was in there, and yeah, Janine Garofalo,
Bob Saget.
Bob
Yeah.
Saget.
So here's an interesting tidbit. So this movie was filmed in Toronto at the exact same time that the movie Dirty Work was being filmed.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, classic
Yeah.
movie, which has Bob Saget, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And so
okay.
the casts, were all staying in the same hotel. And apparently, I don't know who, but someone just asked Bob Saget, he's like, "You want to come over and be in this movie real quick?" So Bob Saget jumped over to do a cameo in Half Baked, and I don't think he's credited for it
Amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
because
And-
it would have violated his contract.
yeah.
Yeah.
I believe. I
Yeah.
believe that's correct.
He
That's-
can't.
that-
Yeah, he can't.
That's
be
typically
paid.
why people go uncredited is so they're not violating a contract.
It also
Right.
looked like his scene was filmed in a hotel
It did,
lobby.
yeah, it
I
did.
didn't even
It
see
kinda
it.
did.
It was great. He was in rehab, right? Or in
It was
Yeah.
like the anonymous.
yeah.
Anonymous.
AA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say that prior to that scene in Half Baked, the Bob Saget I knew and loved was America's Funniest Home Videos and Full
Family
House.
Man.
I had
101.
never seen him in a movie. I'd never seen him in anything. And when he stood up in this movie and said what he said, that was one of the first times my world just shattered in my
Yeah.
life.
That might be true for me too.
It's got to be right because he was so prolific in that family setting, and
Yeah.
it's probably
And
why
I
it
just
felt
didn't
so
know
out of
him.
place.
He may have been in other movies, but I don't know. I didn't see him. So.
Oh, he's got a mouth on him.
Anyway, that
Also,
just
I
shattered my
gotta
world.
quickly flip the script on this scene where he goes on the date with Mary Jane, and they have the counter of money that he has in his pocket, and it's like $8, and it just completely counts down. It counts
Yeah,
down.
great.
Then one of the best things was he steals the money from the homeless guy as he's giving him the last quarter he
Hilarious.
had. It's so
Well,
good.
Very sad, but also funny.
Oh no, it's hilarious.
I like in
Yeah,
this.
it's a great scene.
I like in this scene when he's got the mouthful of ice cream and she's like marijuana. He's like 4 years for weed. Damn. That's good.
What did I not like about this movie? So yeah, obviously the sort of the pacing wasn't great. I didn't think the ending was great. I thought it petered out a lot. The last like 10-ish, 15 minutes were not great. And the sort of the climax scene with the Jerry Garcia in the bag thing was just stupid.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. So I didn't. Yeah, so sort of. I guess like the last act was definitely the weakest part of the movie for me. And it had some things to be desired. But yeah, I don't know what else aside. I mean, that's kind of a big thing, honestly. But I really enjoyed this movie. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. I mean, I thought it had some pretty, I guess, expected turns. I suppose I was never really like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So it was a pretty logical story, but once again, that doesn't really bother me that much for this kind of movie. This is a movie for high people. You need to spoon feed them the story and the plot turns and things. You can't be doing some crazy Kaiser Soze fucking plot twists in Half Baked, okay? Because you're going to lose your audience. So anyway, yeah, that's what I have to say about it.
What'd you think about? I thought maybe you would have taken points off for the kind of the themes of the movie. Basically, like you've got to sacrifice what you love for, to get a girlfriend.
We're going to talk about themes here.
Or like drugs are bad. Like I felt like you. Okay, let's.
Well, yeah, we're like 10 seconds away.
We'll hold
from
off
themes.
from the themes, but I'm just wondering, is the themes part of what you took off of it, and you can.
I mean, not really. I thought the themes were decent.
Okay,
and we'll talk about that. I do have actually one other thing though, little thing that bothered me. It was pretty, and there's really nothing you can do about this, but I think it's pretty clear that like they couldn't really be like smoking a bunch of real weed in this movie, like so I don't even think they're probably. I mean, I can't say for sure, but I'm not sure they were really ever smoking any real weed.
The only person that smoked weed in this film on screen was Snoop Dogg.
I know, that's hilarious because you could tell too, because the way that joint looked and the way it was burning and the way he was smoking, it was like, yeah, that looks real.
I guess the director was very worried about it because obviously they're on a professional paid set. And
Right.
You can't be doing things that are illegal. So,
Right. Which
but
is
it's Snoop. So what are you gonna do?
interesting. I mean, I believe like these days. I mean, you just smoke real weed on the movie set, right?
Most
I mean,
most big cities.
I mean, I would think so. I mean, I don't work on movie sets, so I don't know, but I would guess so. But anyways, that's just unfortunate. That's kind of a limitation of this movie in a weird way. That it's like they didn't actually get to smoke real weed on screen in this movie, except for that one instance, I guess, which was kind of like, I don't know. I think that would have added something to the movie if you knew they were just really blazing up the whole time. Just a small thing, though. Just a small thing. So you know what? I think we want to get into themes now. Let's talk about those themes. And you know what? I'm going to get us started on themes, and I'm just going to be brief and to the point. The themes of this film were friendship, inclusivity, capitalism, drugs. Those were the majors for me.
Love? Nothing.
I mean, there's some love, I guess. It's a
Forgiveness?
little bit more of a lust situation. I mean, screaming "I got some booty" doesn't really speak to me as
Well, I meant from the
Romeo and
girlfriend's
Juliet.
perspective, forgiveness.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of, I think you're getting at the point here, Grizz, is there's a lot of heavy hitter themes in this movie that really help carry this plot along.
Yeah, I guess like one of my themes was that drugs are bad. Ultimately, that's what this movie's telling you, and so I guess I'm kind of, you mentioned those words like drugs by itself as a theme, but I wonder if like you can nuance those a little bit more. Like, what is the movie saying about the theme versus? I guess, are you just saying like those are like the elements that sort of make up the heart of the movie, like just those 5 or 6 you said?
Just whatever a theme is, you know.
Yeah. In that case, definitely. I think you're hitting them. But I do think it says drugs are bad, and
no, I think
weed is
especially
dangerous.
the ending, is especially kind of interesting. But it is funny that he tosses the joint into the water, and it's like, you'll be back. And it's like,
should I spoil the alternate ending that they shot?
No, please spoil it.
He jumps over the bridge into the water after it. instead.
Yeah, it would have been way funnier. Way better. Yeah, they should have gone all
Would
in
have just
on that.
annulled all the themes there.
I mean, I don't know if I completely agree that that this movie was just saying drugs are bad. I think it was kind of saying, in my opinion, drugs or weed, I guess, can be kind of a double-edged sword. You know,
Especially when he goes to AA and they're all like, "What? Why are you in here for weed?"
that was hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
it felt heavy-handed in a couple spots.
Yeah, I mean, but I get it. But the thing is, like weed is very, like many things, it's very different for for different people. I mean, I understand someone who would need to get some help to quit smoking weed. That makes a lot of sense. But I also understand people that have a lot of control over it, and and know when they're doing too much, and you know what I mean. So it's just like anything. But it was very funny, that scene. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yes,
And it's like the main character of the movie, which would be Dave Chappelle, Thurgood. His whole journey is, he's trying to quit smoking, and he finally is able to kick it, and he gets the girl, and he's the hero, and it's because he stopped. And I feel like that's like the main arc of the main character, and that's kind of why I feel like the movie is kind of ultimately saying like, nah, weed's not terrible, but like it's not good to do or whatever, like just you should get rid of it. It's a bad habit.
For me, it was more of like a trying to just kind of sort of bring to life a very real situation. A situation where like that a lot of guys probably in the demo for this movie can really sympathize with, right? Having some hot chick that is just not into the weed, right?
Yep.
Gosh, this is a hilarious scene. All the naked butts in the prison and Harlan Williams singing Into the Soap. This is very funny to me.
Harlan Williams, dude. God, give it to him, dude. That was awesome.
He honestly, we'll get into this more
I wish
later,
he was in the movie more, which is funny.
I thought he kind of stole the show on this viewing for me.
Yeah.
He had some great lines. Yeah, he was excellent. All right, we were talking themes. Character arcs, Brian, what do you have to say about character arcs? You usually have some very smart, very to the point, very pithy comments about character arcs, and I know you're going to bring them tonight.
Well, tonight's not really like all the other nights. So I have Kenny. Kenny becomes hardened in prison. So he's like this kind of gentle butterfly, and then like he becomes this hardened sort of.
Let's remind Kenny is
Harlan Williams,
right?
Yeah. So that's an arc, I'd say, and it was a quite humorous one to me. The way that he's like, they're afraid to tell him that they're going to get the money by selling weed, and then they like tell him, and he's like, "Good, go." Like he's kind of just this whole different guy and stuff. And then Thurgood cleaning up his act, or kind of kicking whatever and getting the girl or whatever. Those were the two arcs I saw. Were there more? Were there less?
I mean, other than the girl, maybe that she forgave Thurgood at the end. But that's the only other one I can think of. But I agree with those.
Dare we go to Brian's corner?
Oh no!
What? The hell is going on in Brian's corner tonight?
Brian, what's happening over there in that corner?
Brian's burned a little incense tonight in this corner.
Mm-hmm. Real smoky over there in that corner.
See if I can do this here. A lot of words on my screen right now.
Oh my God, that's the biggest wall of text I've ever seen, and I'm a writer. Guys, we're going to be here for a minute. Strap in. Buckle up.
Get ready.
Here we go.
It's my discretion whether or not I actually read them all, but I think it'll go quicker than you think. Brian's Corner Interdimensional Cable Edition. Any Rick and Morty fans out there?
Nope.
Did you all say no?
Isn't that the main T-shirts they sell at Hot Topic?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
via my Rick and Morty interdimensional cable box, I watched 10 alternate versions of Half Baked. Which of these versions would you most want to see? So basically, what I'm doing is I'm looking at Half Baked, and I'm going, this like tonally, like I'm not. It's not the plot. It's not the characters. It's anything in specific. It's just like kind of the movie it was set out to be made as, which is just a goofball comedy. I think you could have done something in the realm and really gone a whole different direction. So
you're getting creative tonight.
I'm gonna see what you guys think.
I like this. Yeah.
Well, the creativity happened before I got here. That's why I wrote it down. Okay, it's half baked, but it's a slice of life flick where Dave Chappelle works as a comedy club bartender. But since he's really hilarious when he's high, his friends encourage him to start doing stand-up. Directed by Richard Linklater.
I mean, yeah, hell yeah, I'm in. That sounds amazing.
Alternate title, High Club.
Yep.
Okay, how about Half Baked, but it's a crime thriller where Samson puts a contract on Dave Chappelle's head for stealing business from him. But Sir Smoke-A-Lot puts his resources into protecting him because he wants his superior product, resulting in a crime lord drug war. Directed by Michael Mann.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't know where that's going tonally, though.
It doesn't matter. It sounds awesome.
You can still have the same... Yeah, Grizz.
Who cares?
I mean, I
Bob-
don't
you
disagree
dolls.
necessarily.
But here's the thing: that's a $20 million movie.
Sure.
You know
Michael
what I mean?
Mann, you say?
They
Sign
made
me
this
up.
for $9 million.
Exactly, yeah. And I guess where this is coming from was it all takes place in the same neighborhood. It all takes place with Dave Chappelle, same actors' names, same plot device such that Dave Chappelle smokes weed and is around weed, and it has to have something to do with the plot. Everything else, I just was like, and then we could have gone this direction. Oh boy. Number 3, Half Baked, but it's a dark comedy where Dave Chappelle gets in trouble with the law for drug dealing, but somehow avoids prison through loopholes in the law found by his very eccentric and shrewd lawyer, who incidentally is always high. Directed by the Coen brothers.
Sounds like a lesser Coen Brothers to me.
Could be.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
thanks.
Take it or leave it. I'm going to skip a couple of these. Let's see. It could have been Half Baked, but it's a hyper-stylized animated feature where Dave Chappelle is a daredevil bike messenger on the frenetic streets of Manhattan and decides to start dealing weed using his bike service, only to discover the already existing dark world of drug delivery bike messenger services. Directed by Chris Miller and Phil Lord in the style of Spider-Man Across the Universe.
What was that bike messenger
Animated?
movie in New York City? Do you remember that?
Premium Rush.
Yeah, what? Nice.
I liked it.
Nice.
Joseph,
coming up with
Joseph
that.
Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph
Yeah, I
Gordon-Levitt.
forgot about
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Who's the villain in that? Is Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon.
Ooh, one
Yeah,
of my favorite
He's
actors.
really good in that.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know that I ever saw that.
I remember the
good.
soundtrack being good. I'll have to go back. Yeah.
It was good.
You know what else is good? This fucking Old Elk. It's just dancing on my palate right now.
Nice.
That's going to be my future real soon here.
Good.
I can't
It's a
wait.
bright future.
Did we say this is Critical Mess?
This is Critical Mess.
What is it?
It's what?
I missed it. I was going to say Old Elk at the same time.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not going to read all 10 of these, but see me after the show if you want to know what kind of movie Gaspar Noé would have directed or Edgar Wright would have directed. But I'm saying, there's a lot of different types of movies that you could have started with this core dynamic of marijuana, weed culture. Dave Chappelle, can be funny. You can have his friends, and then what happens instead of it being like this? We've got this crazy Jerry Garcia hitting somebody with a guitar and magic and people floating and weird kind of adventure they go on, or you kind of do a little bit more slice of life like a Friday, because Friday had a good plot, but they didn't have to go on some crazy adventure.
Yeah. Just great characters, great dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Thanks for joining me in Brian's corner, full of alternate reality movies that have weird synopsis.
Ben, what is your rating for this movie?
80.
No.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I
Thank
don't,
you.
No. I
It's-
can't.
I quote it daily.
I can't believe it.
It was funny. It had
When I
funny
say
parts
Lord
in
have
it.
mercy.
I really don't. I put it at the middle of the road at a 50 because I just had no idea which direction to put it, whether I just hated it or loved it or liked it or didn't like it. It's just so strange to me that I don't even think I cracked a smile in this whole film.
Every time I see Funyuns, I think about this movie.
Yeah, but
What is fun
that's not what makes a movie
true.
good
Yeah.
to me. Like, I just thought it was so goofy. They were constantly breaking the fourth wall. They were floating when they smoked. They didn't really seem like high people when they smoked. Like it was a little bit of, I don't know. It just didn't strike me as kind of authentic.
What I do remember as a teen watching this movie with friends that were high or very high that was entertaining. Watching them react to this film, always enjoyable. But the film itself, on a sober brain, not so much.
I mean, I watched it multiple times on a sober brain, and every time I still enjoyed it. Like
Yeah, it's ingrained in your brain though. As like a
yeah. I mean, well,
cult
I also
classic.
had a different experience with this movie. Like it was one of my first movies I ever stole off a bear share. And
bear share. Oh my
Yeah.
god, deep cut.
Yeah, and so I was like, I watched it all the time
Dang.
in college.
What is this movie trying to be? What's it trying to do or like say?
It's just trying to be a fun stoner comedy that just
I think
shouldn't
it's-
overthink it.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to overthink it. I think they're trying to promote marijuana as like, it's weird because they're not promoting marijuana, but they are in a way that is not as extreme as other drugs, say cocaine, heroin, all the other drugs they mention in the thing, even alcohol. I think they even mentioned in the AA meeting. But I think they're just trying to promote it as like not this end all be all. This is going to ruin your life, you teenager that's smoking it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think this film was. I think that's one of the things that it actually working for this film makes
Yeah.
it more interesting is that it doesn't have like a one-sided message about weed smoking. Like it's a little bit, it's pretty balanced,
Mhm.
I think, and I think that's good.
That's a good point.
All right, where are we now, guys? We are on planet Earth,
Are we?
maybe.
I'm not.
I
He
believe.
gone.
No, you're listening to Critical Mess. I'm here with Mr. Brian. I'm here with Mr. Grizz. I'm here with Mr. Ben. We're talking about Half Baked.
Can I interject something? Samson Simpson kind of reminded me of an evil Morpheus from The Matrix.
I could see that.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta hit that quota.
Got it. I even started the episode off with Matrix, and you still got it in there. I'm proud of you,
Yep.
buddy.
All right, guys. I just had to take a big sigh there.
We heard it. We heard it.
Thank God we made it. We made it to the only reason people listen to this fucking podcast.
The only reason.
the only segment that means anything. In fact, I don't. Why do we even do the other stuff?
Just in case something happens to this segment, we have something else to put out there. It's like an insurance.
It's just like an appetizer, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a bloomin' onion.
It's like we're warming
know?
up like the symphony, when all the strings are playing.
Yeah, right.
And then
right.
now it's silent.
Yeah, now
the
they hit you
curtains
with
part.
that 12-ounce fillet.
Yeah, the apps are over.
Right. Medium
it's time
rare.
for the main course.
That's right. What are we talking about, guys? We're talking about, what is it? Crossfire?
Crossfire.
You'll get caught up in it.
Yeah. Crossfire.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Wait.
Rapid?
Sometimes it is
Short
rapid
burn.
fire. I mean, I think it
Small
initially
burn?
started as rapid fire.
Rapid fire. That's what we're on.
Right.
Rapid
the
fire.
problem was we sucked so much at doing rapid fire, and we're such long-winded, belabored speakers.
It might have been because of me originally, but I don't remember.
Well, we decided to change the name.
Slow burn.
Yeah, burning it slow. That's what we're doing. We're slow burning, but we're also burning it from both ends because that's what we do here at Critical Mass. So let's get into it, guys. There's a lot of slow burning to do here tonight. I don't even know where to begin. Let's talk about here's where I'd like to start. Pot slang. What's your preferred word to describe the sweet Buddha?
Weed.
As someone not in this world, pot.
Pot?
Yeah.
That sounds so boomer.
It's simple,
You're not in this world.
very boomer. But that's what I got to go with.
I was always just partial to tree. I like tree. I think that's just a
No grass or leaf.
I would use
or-
grass before tree, I think.
Yeah, I think I use
But I
grass.
like
Yeah, grass
tree.
is
I
good.
want to use tree.
I'm
From now on,
too
I
cool.
shall.
Yeah, I feel like grass is too cool for me, so I got to go with pot. But tree.
yeah.
Do you use the tree emoji?
You could. There's a lot of options.
Well,
Okay.
if he were to have hypothetically ever
Yes,
say that.
if he had ever would
We're not
talk
saying
about
he
this
said that.
subject or send this
There's
to
also,
some.
the broccoli emoji never hurts.
Ooh, broccoli.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chiba, I think, is an interesting one. They used Chiba in this movie a few times. I feel like Chiba's a lost term. You guys ever heard Chiba? You ever heard people at Chiba Hawk?
I've heard it.
I really like that band Morchiba from
I
Toronto.
think that's a little different. Maybe not, actually.
You guys remember Morchiba? at all?
Were they just all about the Chiba? I
wonder.
remember the name.
I always wondered, like why is that their name? Yeah, but anyway, Chiba. Yeah, they definitely use that in this movie.
They do. Okay, moving on. Burn that kind of slow, but medium slow. The first scene in this movie where the kids smoke weed for the first time, and they're in the gas station, and they're kind of like moving in slow motion.
That was cool because the other people were moving in fast motion.
I really
noticed that.
feel like the way they shot that and that little subtle other kind of camera effect they did was like very similar to how it is when you smoke weed for the first time, like a long time. Like it was somehow they kind of nailed it in like a weird way, and they didn't use that effect anywhere else in the movie. But it was just kind of like,
I don't remember catching on to that effect, but I do remember
I'm surprised you didn't notice that.
Long dolly shot where you go on a portrait and you zoom out and push the camera forward.
It's called a dolly zoom.
Yeah.
Is that it? Dolly zoom?
Dolly
Is that right?
They used it in Jaws.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did it on each one of the kids very slightly, but that was the thing that I noticed the most. I was like, oh, all right, they're really using this for
The perspective shifts were really good.
Yeah.
Well, I think the point is like in movies, like showing high is hard, and I think it fails usually. But I thought that was actually kind of like a nice, I don't know,
Like when they floated in their apartment and flew outside.
Not that. Not talking.
Oh, that's not how it is.
That's
okay.
not talking about that. Okay, Ben, I know you're gonna feel me on this one. Dave Chappelle mopping and singing is hilarious. That's just funny.
Yeah.
That's just fun. I could watch that all day. I mean, that's absolutely
Really?
hilarious.
Just Dave Chappelle mopping and singing.
It's just so funny, and like the way he like stealth mopped backwards that one time when he was stealing the forms. Like his mopping was fucking hilarious in this movie.
And he brought it back a lot of times. We're watching a scene now where they just stole the weed out of the pharmacy and they bust out the door with all the weed packages. And there just happens to be a mop behind him and he grabs it and acts like he's working.
It's amazing. I know the mop really should have got a Best Supporting Actor award for this film.
And he wears his jumpsuit from work to the ice.
It's so good. It's so good. This movie is just great. Okay. Okay, how about on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is the name for a bong, Billy Bong Thornton?
Wesley Pipes. I think Wesley
9.
Pipes
was better.
You heard mine, right?
What were the numbers?
I said
Sorry?
9.
9.
Oh, I give it a 7 only because Wesley Pipes came in like right after that.
Yeah,
and
Wesley
I liked
Pipes
it more.
was also good.
It was great.
We used to name our ashtrays in my college house. We had Trey Ashastatio, Trey Anastasio,
Yeah, I get it.
We had we had one called Darth Marlboro. We had some good ones. Anyway, so I like the naming. I like Wesley Pipes. Yeah,
It's good. Just an observation here. No stoner dudes in their 20s have 10 beautiful, perfect, clean bongs on a shelf. Like that is just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. First of all, no one can afford that much glass.
You only see that at a vape
age.
shop.
These
No,
are
that was thousands of
professionals.
dollars.
Nick, I excuse you. These are professionals.
No, but I mean, just the fact that they weren't dirty. They were just super brand new. It was a little weird. That was jarring. Okay. This should have gone in my flip the script, but it's a little bit annoying. What do you guys feel like? They just take one little hit, and it's like they're fucking ripped, dude. That's
what happens to me.
I wouldn't know.
But
So
these
I
guys are
would
supposed
need
to be
a
like
little explanation.
stoners.
Yeah, they're potheads. They're self-professed potheads, so it doesn't seem like that would hit them at all the same way.
Well, didn't they explain that it was like the new, more high def, medical marijuana?
But this
that
is
did it
before
to
they
them?
got that too.
Oh, is it
They also-
before?
I think their first session, even when they weren't children, they had a sesh without the crazy stuff they got from the lab.
I thought they just kind of stood up and they ordered.
Yeah, I think
they
they-
made their order.
The dude did that long order, which was really funny.
Yeah,
Right.
that was great.
And then Dave Chappelle orders his stuff, and they're all just kind of sitting there watching TV. And I guess Harlan or Kenny is kind of high when he's pop 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 with the horse.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like the other ones got super torn up. But your point remains. It's like I don't know. These cops were not realistic in the way that they were behaving either. So
Yeah, it was a little silly, but this movie's a little silly. Okay, Jim Brewer, I thought is just awesome.
Yeah, I love him.
He's great.
Incredible.
The way he delivers that Funyuns, it's just so good.
It's I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a quick scene of him in the background, and he's got a plate of food. It looked like
the
pancakes
marshmallow
or
sandwich thing.
Yeah,
that he's
so he had a
eating?
marshmallow sandwich. But did you notice that he grabbed the half gallon of chocolate milk and poured it over the top? And then he set the milk down and walked over with
Amazing.
it. And he's just moving the plate all over the place.
I love when he's in the record store and he's like, he's like, you want $7 for a used Kenny Loggins record? I'll give you $5. And she's like, but he signed it himself. And he's like, all right, I'll give you $4. And he starts cracking up.
I know,
And then
amazing.
Jan's laughing. He goes, stop it, Jan.
It's so good. So look at you. Well, this movie's hilarious.
I can
Why
relate
did you
to
give
that.
this such
That's
a
what I
low
my,
rating?
my first flip the script was this movie was funny. This movie had a lot of humor and it made me laugh.
Yeah, and
I didn't give it a
can't
10.
believe
I gave it a 37.
I bet you would rate some comedies higher than this that didn't make you laugh nearly as much.
Well, this movie didn't make me laugh. Like I think I've almost said all
This
the times
movie did not
made
make me laugh.
Well,
Yes.
it was funny, but it didn't make me laugh very often.
Okay, can I give another point?
I
This
think
is
I've
just
said the
my
ones
my
that
next
do.
slow burn. Here's another part I bet made you laugh. When Harlan Williams, he thought he was talking to the horse, and he was like, "Hey, girl, you hungry?"
Yeah,
That large.
I just
woman
realized
turns
I
around,
can't quote what
says-
she said.
Well, the first part of it is "fuck you."
I almost quoted her
So-
entire quote. Ben,
Yeah, please don't. But quite a funny line. Quite a funny line. I mean, I know you guys laughed out loud at that. That was hilarious delivery.
I mean, Nick, I could spend an hour laughing at a stand-up comedy routine, but I wouldn't call it a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the humor. If it's not like on top of a good movie, it's not going to move it beyond 37-ish range. I mean, I put it this way: all the credit I'm giving this movie is credit to the humor. So I definitely hear what you're saying. It is funny.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it all kind of depends on how you define a good movie, So one thing I think this movie really had going for it that I think, I want to hear your guys' reaction to if this is true or not. But so I feel like each character of the main 4 characters in this movie were like very distinct and discernible and kind of interesting in their own way and like very different but friends. And it felt very sort of like naturally inclusive. And I feel like in a lot of ways that's like what sort of like weed is, and for a lot of people, like it's a connector between people and different kinds of people and people from different walks of life. And I thought this movie did a good job of kind of showing that and making the characters different and interesting.
You got to
And
say
the cameos represented that. Willie
Yeah.
Nelson to Snoop
Sure.
Dogg. Yeah.
the cameos, but this cast was outrageously diverse for this time frame. That's incredible. Like,
I just have to say, I couldn't stand Scarface. He was so annoying and abrasive, and I feel like the movie could have done without him. He wasn't funny. He was cringe. So, but I think the other 3 guys were.
I think
were good.
Scarface is in one of the best and most important scenes in this movie that I think everyone remembers and associates.
is it the
with
most
this movie.
emotional scene when the dog dies and he has to try to revive it?
No, it's when he's
We're gonna-
quitting his job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good quote.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Fuck
Fuck
you.
you.
I feel like
You're
that's been-
cool.
Fuck
Fuck
you.
you.
I feel like that's been
I'm out.
repeated in another movie, right?
No, this is
this
the
is
I
the
know this
movie,
is
bro.
movie,
This
but
is
I
the
feel like that was
originator of that.
repeated in a different movie later.
Probably because
Okay.
it's so fucking
Yeah.
good.
So good.
It was probably like parodied in like one of the scary movies or something.
But he also has a great dialogue where he tells the backstory of Killer the dog, and he does
That's
the
Jim
big-
Brewer that gives.
Oh, is
that.
it Jim Brewer? Oh, dang, my bad.
Anyone could have said that line. It's the line that's funny. It's not him. I didn't like him. I just,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
But,
but
he
go-
did
but
deliver it.
Very good line. Yes,
He did deliver
just
it. An
took-
iconic line.
he just took me out of the movie.
Yeah, fair enough. Tracy Morgan, love to see him pop up. That was a fun cameo we didn't call out yet. Any of you guys watch Scare Tactics?
oh yeah.
Gosh, what a great show!
Mm.
What a great show! You guys know what Scared?
No.
Okay, it's a show
Oh,
Tracy
man.
Morgan hosts
Yeah.
where like they set up people, like a friend, takes their other friend and like sets them up at like a job interview or like some sort of situation, where they would have to interact with some other people. A lot of it has to do with jobs usually. And like they like set them up at like a facility or a house, and then they film it with hidden cameras, and basically like they just like scare them with a bunch of like it's like there's like a ghost or an alien or like something like comes out and just freaks them out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they work in a museum and an egg cracks open. And it's like an animal of like alien of descent.
Yeah, it's like a Schadenfreude thing,
Yeah.
right? It's like these people like terrorizing their friends. It's very silly. But Tracy Morgan, anyways, the host of that very interesting show. Okay, where do we go from here? The courtroom scene. Do you guys remember that when Harlan Williams is getting convicted? That was like the most low budget shit I've ever seen. There was literally 2 people in that
Yeah,
scene,
it was like
and
a
it was like in
sitcom.
this tiny room. It was worse than a sitcom. It was like that was like student movie level production right there. I mean I get the budget was low, but jeez.
He gets $1 million bailout for just feeding a horse. Like, I don't know.
100,000.
A diabetic horse.
Whatever it is. That whole thing was cheap writing, man. Figure out another way for him to go to jail, not have him just randomly feed a horse, and now he's I don't know.
Kills an officer on duty.
Well, here's a great line that relates right to that.
It was $1 million, by the way, because they had to get a tenth to
Right,
get him out,
that's-
which was 100,000.
That's correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Got it.
100,000.
See,
Right.
that's ridiculously high. Feeding a horse.
That's
on the
high.
street.
When Harlan Williams tells those guys in prison when they're talking to him through the glass, I'm not getting the respect a cop killer deserves.
I laughed when Nasty Nate said, "Next time I come for you, I'm gonna want some cocktail fruit."
Dude, Nasty Nate was so funny.
Yeah,
This movie is
he
so
could have been
brilliant.
bad, but I just like how he'd clarify fruit.
That's just- look at you. I can't.
80.
This guy puts
80,
it in the
80 for
30s.
sure.
37 for the reasons I'm saying, but they're just
30s.
not
Look
good
at us
reasons.
Giggling over here.
I'm giving. I'm really giving you guys because I'm in a good mood right now. I could be taking a lot from it, but I'm giving. I'm just giving.
This is like when the movie's not good, but you really like it.
yeah.
This is exactly the reason that they have it.
Yeah.
God, if you're listening, help.
Yeah, that was so funny. All those lines were good. Here's another great Dave Chappelle line, or when Mary Jane says, "My father was a drug dealer," and he says, "Wow, that must have been the shit."
That must have been shitty.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so good. Here's another just tiny little subtle dialogue detail that I thought was very funny. Was when Dave Chappelle is, talking to the scientist guy, and they refer to each other as scientist,
Janitor, yeah.
janitor. That shit is fucking hilarious. When the scientist startles Dave and he like backs up and he starts to fight him with the mop. I mean, that shit. Anything with Dave and the mop in this movie is just A+. Another moment that I'm sure hopefully made you all laugh was, Dave signing for the weed the first time.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. He has like an orgasm when he's and he's trying to sign at the same time. That's one of
And he
the
just,
funniest parts of the
scribbles
movie.
all over the page. It's really good. It's really funny.
I sign this and I get to take this. That's it.
We already kind of talked about the weed in this movie looking really fake, right? That was a problem. I didn't like. They could have even had fake weed that looked better.
Mm-hmm.
And for peak 90s movies where they had weed and narcotics was the biggest thing that most action films and things had, you'd think they'd do better than that, especially over a weed
You would
movie.
think so. It looked like moss. It was not great.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
Why does Kenny have a signed calendar featuring Nasty Nate on his wall?
It's on the list, and let's talk about it right now. I think that's a big point.
It's a very funny scene. The way
Hilarious!
That he's
How
Devil
funny
Man.
is that? They made a prison inmate
Very funny.
calendar with Nasty Nate on it. That shit is so fucking funny.
The prop department wins the Oscar for
It was so good. Like, what a smart idea. Yeah, this movie now admittedly, I guess I was just in a good mood when I watched this last night. I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I guess I didn't realize how nostalgic I was for this movie, and I guess how many times I had actually seen it in the past. But I just really enjoyed myself. I just thought this shit was hilarious. Every few minutes. Now I will say, once again, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but the last act, not great, but man, I laughed a lot. Okay, anyways, I digress. Where are we? Slow burning? Guys, what throw a slow burn out there. I'm hogging all the slow burning.
I literally just did. When Brian's climbing up the ladder and he almost falls and he does that little nervous laugh like, whoa.
It's good.
He's laughing that he almost died and like avoided catastrophe. That's funny to me.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed that was funny.
I liked when Thurgood took the joint after he's yelling at him and he goes, "I'm sorry for yelling."
The Dave Chappelle, like, distinguished voice
Yeah,
it's priceless.
That's why I like the narration of this whole film. It just seemed like he had a little, pep in his step when he talked the whole film. It's great.
One of my favorite lines in this whole movie, as I said earlier, Harlan Williams, I think, was kind of an underappreciated gem in this film.
Oh, absolutely.
I wish he would have got some more screen time. But when he sat down at the lunch table with those guys, and he said, "Do you guys believe in angels?"
I wish he was just in more movies in general.
Did you see Rocket Man?
Yes. I love that as a kid.
We're talking about Harlan Williams, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what else? What other movie he's got a great cameo in? Probably my favorite comedy of all time. Not exaggerating.
Dumb and Dumber.
There it is. Producer
Dumb
Ben
and-
got it.
Dumber.
Yeah.
I knew that was your favorite comedy. I don't know why I didn't say it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right? Remember? He's
Yeah.
the cop
Yeah.
that drinks the.
Yep, drinks the. He does the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it.
Okay, Grizz, you touched on this earlier, but I just want to bring up again because I thought it was such a good sequence. Was that it was the date sequence where there's like the countdown of the money?
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant. I love when movies do like little things like that, like they do, like a little gimmick that just like
Yeah.
just for a minute or two, and it's just like a fun little like status thing.
It
kind
felt
of.
super appropriate for their love story, part of it. And I mean, I already loved, and I talked about, Dave Chappelle's narration through this whole film, but that was like comedic gold to me because it counted down the cash. You're on the date with them, you're experiencing it, and you see that countdown happen. And then you see the homeless guy, and you're like, all right, well, he only has a quarter left. And they're going to this ice cream shop. What are they going to do? And he fucking steals the money from the homeless guy. It's so good.
Yeah, he's a terrible person.
It's amazing. Yeah.
He lies and steals the entire movie.
What else could you ask for?
Yeah.
From a great stand-up guy.
Yeah.
We've already talked about cameos some. I mean, there's obviously some great ones, Snoop and Willie, but the Jon Stewart one, that's another one that like I just go back to. It's just like a classic like thing, like a quotable from this movie that I could just at any time,
Because you
You-
can use it
you
on
ever-
anything. You can
right,
say, you ever do
right.
XYZ?
You ever see
on
Sin of a
weed?"
Woman?
Yeah.
On weed. It's just so good.
$20 bill?
Yeah. On weed. There's a guy jumps out of the bushes. Who's that? Where is he? Where's he going? It's good. It's really good.
But Brian, you had 7 or 8 different types of potheads.
Yeah, yeah. Who was you guys' favorite of the sort of self-described potheads? I'm gonna go through them. You have the enhancement smoker, which is Jon Stewart.
Mhm.
You have, and when I say your favorite, I mean your favorite moment of the movie,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
necessarily like, oh shit, I'm about to lose my battery. Number 2, the scavenger, Snoop Dogg. 3 was the You Had to Be There, the Willie Nelson. 4 was the old lady who talks about it for her glaucoma. 5 was the creative. Which one was that? Janine Garofalo.
Oh, yeah.
And then 6 was the MacGyver, where he's making those bongs out of the materials. The Baldwin brother. Steven, yeah. And then 7 was he talks about the straight up pothead. Sir smokes a lot.
I got to go with the father-son combo.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
Oh,
put
man.
them
Oh,
in
you
there.
didn't have it on there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So the
There's
father-son
8.
combo where he just like glides over and he's just narrating this whole story of this kid smoking pot in his room by himself. And it's the perfect shot of just the outside of the apartment. And you see the one room, then it pans over to the dad. And it's just like, how is this, this kid's being a rebellious pot smoker? And then it pans over to the dad as he's contemplating whether, what can he do to relate to his kid? Pot, just
I know, and it's cool how they say like he's smoking weed to try to see
Figure
what's
out,
cool
yeah,
to bond with
to
his
open
son,
his mind up.
ironically, because
Yeah.
like that's what would bond him.
Yes,
so
that's so good.
clever writing.
yeah.
I mean, I identify probably closest with the geriatric, the grandmama. I got to fix that glaucoma.
Gotta fix that glaucoma.
Yeah, she was fun.
Good for your joints, right?
I liked her a lot.
I like the scavenger, man. Snoop Dogg when he just sucks that down. He goes, man, back up! I ain't even hit the motherfucker yet. Like
He even
he's
looks
just
like he
tearing it
literally
apart.
glides into the scene. If you look back, he kind of like does a weird step where he floats
Yeah, it's
into
like they
the.
raise him up.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I'd say either him or the Baldwin brother, the MacGyver guy. He's like, all
Yeah.
right, get me.
The mechanic.
I
yeah.
made bongs with less. So, yeah, there you go, Ben. Those are the 7 types.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
8 with the father.
So in this movie, weed is $10,000 a pound.
Yeah, because wasn't it like $60 an ounce or whatever?
Well, no, that math doesn't check out.
Well, whatever the little amounts he was giving away for samples were $60. A gram, a milligram. I don't know. That's a lot.
It's a lot. It would
Well,
make some good shit.
It was medical grade though.
Yeah.
Remember, it got the guy on the couch high, and if you can get him high, your shit is on point.
It's got to be good.
Stephen Wright. Yeah, that's another great cameo. This movie has great cameos. There's like 10.
How do you think?
That
How
was
did he
on my
get?
flip the script.
Yeah.
How do you think Dave Chappelle got all
Makes up
those?
my
Is it
37.
because this movie was it
'Cause he's
financed?
funny. You know who he tried to get for this movie that said no? That would have been epic. Harrison Ford.
Oh shit, that would have been awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
Dang.
And you know Harrison Ford's a notorious pothead.
No, I didn't know that.
I did know that.
He is.
Yeah.
He's like a daily smoker. I think. I checked me on that, but I think
I
I'm pretty
do
sure I
know
read
this.
that.
Yeah, I do know that rumor. Yeah.
Cool. Why didn't he want to do it?
Yeah, that dude likes getting high. Yeah, I'm just gonna give. I got to give one more shout out to Harland. Just singing in the shower.
With the bars.
Oh,
And
bye.
when- I think
So out
the
of tune.
build up to it is the best part though, and he's like, "And making love was just for fun." Oh
And you
my
know it's going to happen
gosh.
because he's got the bar of soap in his hand and the rope is hanging below. You know it's going to happen. So comedic gold.
Guys, a dog gets kicked again in this movie.
I know.
What
Killed.
the fuck?
Dog gets
po-
killed.
Not
post-
only kicked, but
post-mortem.
killed.
Killed.
Kicked and killed.
Yeah. And Dave Chappelle steps on its head.
I thought of you,
Did
buddy.
you catch that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that part. Yeah, that was another couple points off.
Killer, kill,
Killer.
Killer, kill.
Yeah. How do we feel about the backstory? Jim Breuer's backstory on Killer? Did we like that?
That was easily one of my favorite parts of this film. So 10 out of 10.
That was an actual, like, artistic, interesting moment that they sort of said, hey, we're going to do something unique.
Here's another great quote. When the cops are high as fuck and they're in the van and they're reading the letter that Dave Chappelle wrote
Yeah.
to Mary Jane.
Pussy.
He's like, the only Mary Jane I'll ever need. And they just burst into laughter.
Pablo's
gosh.
plumbing. Yeah, on the side of the truck.
The way Samson screams when the woman's
Yeah, I had that.
breast pops out
Yeah.
of her top is
Like they're calling
fucking
it out to make sure it hits the R rating because they have to-
hilarious.
That's very funny because you don't
That's
expect
very
that.
funny.
Don't expect that. It's like,
That's
wait, what's
very-
the situation
like-
here?
He like shrieks. It's so good.
It's like, are these his daughters? Like, what in the world?
So good. I think one thing we wanted to do before we close it down here tonight is talk about sort of our Mount Rushmore, if you will, of stoner films. There's a lot of them out there. They tend to make money, so they keep making them. But yeah, let's talk about it, guys. If you had to pick, I guess, how many presidents are on Mount Rushmore? I think there's 4.
Correct. 4.
So that would be 4 films that you need to pick that would fall into the stoner genre. And I'm happy to start. If you guys
Go
want.
for it.
Number one is Friday.
I think Friday's on there, obviously. I think Friday's on there. This movie is on there for me. I obviously really like this movie. I think I'm going to put, once again, it's kind of, you got to figure out where you draw the line
Yeah,
with
that's what
stoner
we're going to
movies.
differ on how we agree what that means. Yeah.
But one movie I've watched a few times and is a stupid comedy, but I do think is funny, is Grandma's Boy.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess, that's just what's coming to me because I've just seen it like 5 times. Not a great movie, but a great stoner movie though, I will say.
Yeah, and I guess I would want to use more the word like weed culture movie because like stoner movie to me is like a movie that's made for a stoner, not a movie
Sure.
about stoners. And my Mount Rushmore is going to be movies not for stoners, but movies about weed culture, marijuana, stoners, where it's sort of like what's a Christmas movie,
I think it's the opposite for me. I
So-
think it's about what weed smokers or potheads would want to watch and enjoy watching as a film.
I think
At
there's
least from my
definitely
opinion.
overlap.
Yeah, I
but,
think so
like,
too, for sure.
Like if it was just for people who smoke pot and get high, like I don't know if that's if that's the type of movie I want to be discerned and rated by that crew, So I don't know. Mine would be movies that are definitely weed. You'd say that's a weed movie. That's a movie about weed.
Okay.
That's why I put Dazed and Confused on there for me,
Yeah,
and The Big
that's fair.
Lebowski as well.
I think I get one more, right?
Yep. No, you.
Yeah, I get one more.
Did you say Friday?
I did.
Friday,
okay,
Half
okay.
Baked. And
I
I guess.
Well, I thought we were all going
you know what?
communally, my bad.
I'm gonna. If we count the Big Lebowski, I'm gonna remove Grandma's Boy. I don't know why I thought. I mean, the Big Lebowski is just obviously a much better movie than that.
I mean, there's sequences in it where he's like fucked up and like going between people's legs on a bowling alley, and I know that that's not necessarily from the weed. That's from when he gets like roofied and stuff. But like, it's a very trippy, weedy movie.
yeah. If we're counting that, that's got to be in there. And,
I'm counting it.
okay. Yeah. No, it's in mine too. And I'll throw another one in there. A movie I really just is very endearing to me. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
I think Sean Penn just nails the stoner.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Spicoli. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There's my Mount Rushmore.
nice. Great collection.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's going to be Friday, Big Lebowski, Dazed and Confused, and the fourth one is that's why I said I put Friday like right outside of my top four because Half Baked right outside of my top four because Half Baked just isn't a good enough movie. Like those other three are good movies, and like they're all about weed. So I don't know that just. I can't put Half Baked in there. So I would put a movie like I would almost have that last spot be rotating. You know, a Pineapple Express, whatever what we just talked about, Fast Times at Ridgemont. And I haven't seen a lot of the like lower budget stuff. I've not seen How High. You know, I know that's a big one. I saw Harold and Kumar, but I didn't like it at all. So my fourth would be like a rotating fourth spot of actual good movies.
I literally didn't even see that there was suggested
even know.
movies
That's what
on
we
the
got.
screen right there, and Grandma's Boy was one of the suggested
Yeah.
movies. That was just like maybe that was subconscious or something, but that's funny. And Pineapple Express, which I honestly didn't love Pineapple Express.
I didn't love it either, but
Oh,
I still
really?
thought it was
Dang.
a much better done movie than Half Baked. Half Baked seems like a low budget TV movie, and Pineapple Express seemed like a cinematic, like much better, much more artfully made
absolutely.
movie.
I will agree with that, but I laughed way more and way harder in Half Baked.
Really?
And that was what was
Dang.
more
And I
important
won't
to
even
me.
disagree with that. But again, I just don't put laughter on its face as I don't weight that probably as heavily.
But
as you
isn't
do.
that the whole point
That's
of comedy?
enjoyable. Yeah.
I mean, if you're watching a comedy, isn't to make you laugh like the goal?
Yeah.
No,
Really?
just like if
Wow.
you're watching a horror movie, it's not to make you scared. It's a horror genre movie. Comedy is a genre, not just to make you laugh. I mean, there's a lot of overlap between laughter and comedies, but there's dark comedies that don't make you laugh at all. There's all kinds of different humor too. There's tongue-in-cheek humor. There's
I
out
don't
loud
know.
laughter.
Yeah, I think
mean,
that's-
humor is very nuanced. It's not just out loud laughter.
Yeah.
It's like it's
fair.
like a shrewdness, cleverness. It's such a wide spectrum.
it's still
and
what
I'm
you
only
find
laughing at a
humorous.
small part of that spectrum. And so to me, comedy is much bigger than just what do you laugh at.
But I feel like if the movie is labeled a comedy, not dark comedy or something else, if the movie is like this is a comedy, is the goal not to make you laugh though? You don't think so?
Or have that
Like, not
emotion,
romantic comedy,
or have that
not, like-
emotion of comedy inside. If it's a dark comedy, you wouldn't laugh out loud necessarily, but you would find that funny in some way, shape, or form.
Or let's take it one step further. Slapstick comedy. Is the goal of that not just to make you laugh?
Yeah.
Is there something?
Yeah. Slapstick comedy, the goal is to make you laugh, right? Yeah. But it still has to have all of the elements that make a movie. It's got to have compelling characters, good
Yeah.
storylines, good production value, be a creative work that's not just a derivative parody. There's a lot of things. But yeah, I agree. It is to make you laugh. Yeah.
Great discussion, guys. Nice work. My Mount Rushmore. I can't even speak. My Mount Rushmore obviously would be. I think we've all said.
No, keep
My
going.
Mount Rushmore.
Keep going.
I think we've all said Friday and Half Baked. I think thus far.
I'm not saying Half Baked for the record.
Oh, you didn't. Okay.
I don't think it's a good enough movie to be up there.
I don't think it's a good enough movie, and I think it falls within that realm that there's enough respect as from the audience standpoint of the true fans, if you will.
I wonder how much of it is because it came out when I was like 17, and like
Yeah.
all of my contemporaries have nostalgia for the movie,
Yeah.
and it's not really nearly well known as I think it is.
Yeah.
So I wonder. I'm not saying that, but I wonder that.
Do you think that's true? You think it's not as kind of well known as respect? Because I kind of felt like the opposite.
It's got
like,
26 ratings. That's so low. For,
yeah, but
That is
but it-
insane
But
when
it
you
came
said
out
that.
a long time ago
But
too.
but you can look at like other movies that came out in the 90s and they've got way more ratings than that. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you're right. If it came out
Sure.
now, it'd have more ratings than that. But that just tells me that not a lot of people are going back and revisiting
That
it.
cult
But-
following
but-
is so small.
But when this movie came
agree.
out, no one gave a shit at all. But I feel like this movie, kind of the audience for it and the reputation of it's been growing and growing and growing and growing, just sort of over time.
Oh, I was
because it is
unaware
a-
of that.
It's a cult classic movie
because it
That's
was
what-
really big when it came out, and
That's
that's
it.
why I think it's still big.
Oh yeah, well I guess I didn't really. I didn't see it as big when it came out because
Oh.
I wasn't paying attention.
I guess
to
it was
I
in
was
all
a
my
little young.
circles.
I was a tiny bit young for it when it came out.
I
in
just remember
98.
it being on repeat on Comedy Central all the time.
I mean, everybody in class knew it. That's why we watched it in school. Like everyone knew Half Baked at my age. So I'm just assuming it's just people like me who like the movie. But if you're telling me that like Zoomers are coming up loving Half Baked, or you know, if it just maybe just a wider audience, then I believe you. And
Well, I just feel like isn't like a cult classic. I mean, that's even in the description around Amazon. Critically panned cult classic, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the what a cult classic is. It's something that has a reputation that just usually continues to grow over time.
yeah.
Just because of word of mouth that just wasn't, usually liked by critical audiences. So
Oh, okay.
anyway, where are we?
My
I have
last
no
two
idea.
of
Oh
Mount
yeah,
Rushmore.
Grizz's Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore.
back to that.
Grizz.
As I remember, my Pineapple Express I think is high up there, but also any Cheech and Chong movie. I know we have Up in Smoke listed on this like recommended film list, but I think anything by Cheech and Chong, I think their chemistry was just unbelievable at the time, and I thought their comedy was hilarious whenever they did a film.
Yeah,
So,
they played those on like Comedy Central all the time. Back
Yeah,
in the day.
yeah.
It was fun to just watch those.
yeah,
Those
something
those
about
movies
those
are
like
fun.
just them back and forth bickering or doing whatever their life. It was just brilliant. I thought so.
Yeah, those movies
Okay.
are fun. Agree. Agree. All right, what a critical fucking mess
Man,
tonight. Whew. Boy, oh boy, oh
That's a
boy.
rough one.
Thank goodness we get paid so well for this.
I know. Thank you to our sponsors.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Glad you reminded us. Old Elk. What a treat it is to have Old Elk just dancing on the pallet tonight.
what a in excelsis Deo, Excelsius beverage.
He's
Excelsior.
fucked.
What an Excelsior beverage.
What Brian said. I think that's the new tagline.
Artisanal and abysmal.
Old Elk, we'll write you a tagline, and it'll be
Ambrosial.
maybe slightly better than what
One of these
Brian just
days
said.
it'll be great.
Ambrosial, that's what it is.
Ambrosial. That'll be in there for sure. Yeah. Anywho. Okay. This has been Critical Mess. We're done here. Is what
Wait, what are we doing next?
I think we're shutting it down.
That's it. That's it.
That was it.
That's
20
it.
episodes were out.
We're done.
1
that's
year,
it,
20
guys.
episodes.
Half
We're
Baked
in.
killed us.
I think that's it.
What's our next movie, guys? What are we going to discuss
We
next?
have another movie we decided on, and Lord help us. We're going to be talking.
God, if you listen, help.
That's exactly how I feel right now. We're going to be doing Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So
You guys look so drained from this discussion.
I haven't seen it. I saw it in the theater. I
saw
haven't
one
seen it
time
since.
in the
Okay,
theater.
I'm excited.
I mean, I don't need to elaborate.
Should we go back and just rewatch all 5 films? Just as for
Yeah,
fun?
any one but this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. There's 5. They're all on Disney Plus.
Except for the new. I don't know about the new one.
New
I think
one
it's
just
been-
came out
You guys,
on Disney Plus.
There's only 2 of them that are good.
Nah, I think all the 3 originals are good.
I mean, it's not bad.
3's my
2 are great.
3 is my personal favorite, but
I mean, 2 literally made PG-13.
Yeah, I know.
So just
but-
that's pure respect.
I know, but still, it
and
doesn't
that's-
make it a good movie. But you know,
Yes,
I
it
do
does.
respect that.
Yes, it
I'm excited for the discussion either way.
Yeah. So we're doing Temple of Doom, right?
Anyway, I wish we were doing Temple of Doom. Does that fit our criteria? Can we switch?
No, I already looked.
Nope. Sorry about you.
Shit. What is Temple of Doom? Is it a?
I gotta really
is it
come
a-
prepared
is
for
it
this
got
one
a-
if I gotta battle for it.
I don't remember, but I know I looked it up, and it didn't fit. But we're our
Can
own
you look it up?
bosses.
Ben, can you put the Jeopardy music on while I do this?
Yeah.
Because I do just want to know what Temple of Doom is. Yes,
Nice.
that will
Legally nondescript music.
work. Here we go. Oh man, it's pretty kind of like that tune, swanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, 77% with critics and 82 with audiences. So that's-
Damn.
Yeah.
People love indie though. Come on.
Oh, I love Temple of Doom. I'm a big fan. It's dark. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about this other shitty one. Whatever
Kingdom
it's
of the
called.
Crystal Skulls.
Yeah, the Crystal Skulls. So we're going to talk about that next time. And you know what? I take back everything I said. I'm going to go into this with a clear, fresh perspective. I'm going to look at it objectively, and we're going to see what happens.
I'm going to look at it without the hype that I had the first time I saw it.
You know
I
what?
know, that was a
Just
big problem.
View
Big
it
problem.
as a
Big
movie
problem.
and see what I think.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
I am going to
appreciate
try.
you
I
guys.
promise.
I'm rooting for
promise
Indiana.
I'll try.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him.
If you've
'cause
not understood the debate now, that one of us may like it and some of us may not like, but
Well,
it'll make for a good
I'm going to be objective. It's 2020. What year is it?
3. Almost 24.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it without any type of colored glasses or whatever. So yeah, that'll be fun. We're gonna talk about it next time. Okay, this has been Critical Mess.
Instagram.com.
Oh shit! Thanks, Brian. We can be found on the World Wide Web.
It's official.
We are on there. http://www.instagram.com/critical mess crew.
Nice work, buddy.
get
Critical
that?
Mess Crew. Nice work. You got it.
Critical mess crew. So holler at us. Get at us. If you say anything to us, we'll say it. We'll talk. I mean, unless it's like offensive, unless it like, violates our principles and morals, we'll probably say it. So yeah, get at us. We love it. Okay. This is it. We're done. Guys, catch us next time. We're talking about Indiana Jones. Say peace.
See ya.
Later.